I have learned that on some issues of importance, they are so sacred, as John put it, but there are some issues so important that it is better to stand alone than not stand at all. I will stand alone. I will fight for you. Will you fight with me? Will you stand up against Donald Trump and make sure that he is removed from office?
Let me ask you this. How many of you want Donald Trump and his administration removed from office now? Okay, because I've heard the excuse that there is not enough energy in this country, not enough support for removing this criminal fascist regime from power. Is there enough support for removing Trump from power?
We have a message for Donald Trump today. We are not afraid of you. You are a lawless, reckless, wannabe tyrant. You have committed high crimes against the state. We will hold you accountable. You must be impeached and removed from public office.
Please welcome Jessica Denson. Jessica is the founder of 14th Now and the Removal Coalition and the host of Lights On. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you, everybody, so much. I just want to take a moment to apologize to those who are watching on Lights On. We had a little technical glitch, but you know what? That's what I love about this movement. We adapt to the needs of the moment, don't we? This day is about a man who was not afraid to stand out, who didn't wait for the time to be appropriate or the circumstances to be comfortable. He acted when it was right. You know what? Back in January, a small group of us were in this very park on that bench demanding that Congress reject the presidency, the illegal presidency of Donald J. Trump. He is an adjudicated insurrectionist, disqualified from serving as president under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Not only does he commit impeachable offenses on a daily basis, his foundation of his presidency is illegal, invalid, and unconstitutional. You know, the 14th Amendment of the Constitution is what gave humanity to this country. Before the 14th Amendment, we didn't consider people whole. We were so far from our pursuit of freedom and justice for all. And the 14th Amendment introduced humanity. It was the result of the Civil War and the victory of the Union forces. What we have right now is the equivalent of having a Confederate soldier take the presidency after the Civil War. So I go back to thinking, when I think about Donald Trump as the illegitimate president that he is right now, I think back to John Lewis giving an interview in 2017 when Trump was president-elect the first time. And he told Meet the Press, he said, "I refuse to accept the legitimacy of this presidency," I'm paraphrasing, because of the Russian influence, because of the decades of cultivation that an enemy state, an enemy government, the Kremlin, did to put this man in our seat of power. Now, John Lewis very much was standing alone in 2017. The Democrats weren't happy with the election of Donald Trump, but they were largely accepting his presidency as legitimate. And John Lewis stood out and said, "This president is illegitimate. I will not validate him or attend his inauguration." Now, I think we have too few Congresspeople and representatives willing to pick up the mantle of John Lewis today. How many of you are a little bit disappointed in the pro-democracy lawmakers out there? Let me ask you this. How many of you want Donald Trump and his administration removed from office now? Okay, because I've heard the excuse that there is not enough energy in this country, not enough support for removing this criminal fascist regime from power. Is there enough support for removing Trump from power? You're going to hear more about how much support there is today. But if the Democrats cannot harness the power of this movement, over thousands of people, millions probably across the country, showing up on a weekday to protest, if they can't harness that power, what the hell are they waiting for? I'd like to remind everybody of an analogy I heard recently of the Tea Party. The Tea Party was nothing compared to our movement. They were a sprinkling of people in a park on a Saturday if they were lucky. They hijacked the Republican Party. They became MAGA. They became Donald Trump. What are the Democrats doing? If they are not using the power of this movement to stop the destruction of American democracy? So you see where I'm going here. We need to pressure our Congress people. We need to message at every one of these protests, not just that we're dissatisfied, but like our wonderful speakers have been saying, that we have the power, and we want that power exercised in honor of our Constitution to remove this man who is violating our civil and human rights. And I know one man, one congressman, who is doing that more than anyone else right now. Can you guess who it is? It's Congressman Al Green, standing right here to the side. Congressman Green started the impeachment conversation early in this administration when it was appropriate. Donald Trump committed treason on day one by pardoning people who were convicted of seditious conspiracy. He has a litany, a textbook, a Project 2025 length list of impeachable offenses that we could choose from on a daily basis. And I will tell you, every single member of Congress has the power to do what Representative Green did, file articles of impeachment and force a vote any day of the week. So that was the purpose, my friends, of the Removal Coalition. I urge you to show up at every one of these protests demanding that Trump and his illegal administration be removed. Make the media pick up on it. Make the lawmakers in Congress respond to your demands. I will leave with the quote from Barbara Jordan. She was the first African American elected to the Texas Senate after Reconstruction. She said, "My faith in the Constitution is whole, it is complete, it is total. And I am not going to sit here and be an idle spectator to the diminution, the subversion, the destruction of the Constitution." God bless you all. God bless America. Now please join me in giving a warm, warm welcome to someone who has become a friend, someone who stands out and is fearless, who, like John Lewis, lives the sermon he preaches, Representative Al Green.
Thank you. Would you kindly join me in giving Jessica a big expression of appreciation? That was big, but it really wasn't big enough. Give her a really big expression of appreciation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will be followed by John Bonifaz, and I know that you know that he helps me with impeachment. He is a constitutional scholar. I'm going to have to leave, but I want you in my presence to give John Bonifaz a big expression of appreciation, please. Now, are you ready to get into some good trouble? Are you ready to get in good trouble over here? Are you ready to get in good trouble over here? Over here. Behind me, are you ready to get in good trouble? We have to. It is our duty, our responsibility, and our obligation to protect the Constitution of the United States of America. I knew John Lewis. John Lewis was a colleague. John Lewis was a friend. John Lewis and I spent time together, and we served time together. We went to jail together, and I'm proud to say that I was in jail with John Lewis. And there is nothing wrong with making a sacrifice. If it's a peaceful protest that you're engaged in, it must be peaceful. Remember, later on today when you march, it has to be a peaceful march. No one should do anything that would be considered an act against the law. If that happens, you will spoil all that we have come for, all that we stand for, because you will make the news, the march won't, John Lewis will not. Let's make sure we have a peaceful protest today. Can we do this, please? Now, John Lewis and I talked about many things, but the thing I'd like to call to your attention today is the Edmund Pettus Bridge. John Lewis, in 1965, was there at the Edmund Pettus Bridge to protest for voting rights. John Lewis and many people approached the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and it has a crest. And when you reach that crest at the Edmund Pettus Bridge, you then start to see what awaits you. John told me that he saw those persons, members of the constabulary, and that they were there, and he knew that it would be brutal, but they marched on. And knew that some of them might be harmed severely, but they marched on. They knew that they had a justice and a just and righteous cause, and that they were there to make sure that they didn't get justice for themselves, but justice for the United States of America, so they marched on. And he told me that when the officers approached him with clubs, he literally thought that he was going to die on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. They beat them all the way back to the church where they started. Now, mind you, these were peaceful protesters who had but one thing in mind: to march from Selma to Montgomery. That was their goal, to peacefully demonstrate. Little did they know that that march was going to be a seminal moment in time for the civil rights movement. It produced the crown jewel of the civil rights movement, which was the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And I want you to know that that Voting Rights Act of 1965 is being shredded. It's being torn apart. It's being eviscerated. And I want you to know that this president has decided that because he cannot win a fair fight, he has decided because he needs to maintain control of the Congress of the United States of America by and through persons who will not stand up to him. He wants you to know that he will do whatever he can to win, and he has now decided that he's going to come into the state of Texas with the governor of the state of Texas. And the two of them together have decided that they are going to take congressional seats in Texas, move them from the Democratic column to the Republican column so that he can maintain his position in Congress. But we will not let that happen. We're going to stand up and fight for Texas. We have to fight for Texas, because when we fight for Texas, we're going to fight for your state, for states from coast to coast. This is not just about the voting rights in Texas. Although the president has said there are 4 districts that he's targeting, all 4 districts have minority representation. He has decided that he is going to take those 4 districts and he's going to mold them and shape them such that he can get 4 more seats in Texas for the Republican Party. Friends, when you do this and you're picking on the minority seats, you can call it a lot of things. You can call it bigotry, yes. You can call it a power grab, yes. But I call it what it is. This is a racist power grab by the President of the United States to maintain power. We have to stand up to his bigotry and his racism. We cannot allow this to become the law of the land. We, the people, will have the last word. And so today, we, the people, are here because we want good trouble, and that means we want to make sure that we pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act in the Congress of the United States of America. And we want to do it because when we pass that Voting Rights Act, it will be that act that we will use to protect a woman's right to choose. This is why we must pass it. We must. We want to send a message to the president that yes, he has the Justice Department under his hands, but yes, we want you to know this, Mr. President, the long arm of the law has no place in a woman's womb. We're going to pass laws that protect a woman's right to vote. But we're not going to stop there. We're not going to leave our LGBTQ plus brothers and sisters behind. We're not going to leave them behind. We're going to pass laws that will let them be themselves, not when they're at home, not when they're among company that they love and trust, but when they're out on the streets of this country, they have the right to be free in the United States of America. That's what the John Lewis Voting Rights Act is going to do. But it's also going to allow us to address what we have been addressing for some time, and that is the brutality at the hands of some members of the constabulary. Not all, but some police officers, not all. And we're going to do that by passing the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act in the Congress. That's what John Lewis Voting Rights Act will do for us when we pass it. That's why we're going to march. But we're also going to march because we believe that a president should not believe that when judges differ with him, he has a right to impeach them. No president has that right. So we're going to send a message to this president. Mr. President, you will not impeach them. We, the people, will impeach you. We also want to make sure that there's an understanding in this country when we get the power, and we have it, we the people do, to make sure that every person on the soil of the United States of America has the right to have habeas corpus, has the right under the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment means something in this country. It means something. You can't just pick people up and take them away willy-nilly. You can't do it arbitrarily and capriciously. You've got to do that after you have been given the authority, and you don't show up with a mask on. We refuse to live in a country where members of the constabulary can walk up to a woman, pull their mask up, and take her away to some place, not telling her necessarily where she's going. This is not the America we know and love. The John Lewis Voting Rights Act is going to change that. We the people will pass that act. It's time. It's time. Due process is something that every citizen deserves. And we're going to make sure that it remains the law of the land. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to make sure that the people in Gaza, we have to stand up for the people in Gaza. We have to stand up for the babies that are being murdered. We got to stand up for the people who need justice. Gaza is a place that we have to get engaged with. We cannot stand idly by and see the richest country in the world with the most powerful arsenal in the world decide that we are going to sanction what's happening to those people in Gaza. They deserve our help and our aid, and they deserve it because our bombs, we are paying for the bombs that are being dropped. They deserve our help because our president sanctioned what's going on. We have got to protect them. It is time for the United States of America to understand that Gaza is an important piece of the justice that is deserved in this country. So I want you to know that there is no voice that's going to silence me. Yes, I have been censured, but I haven't been silenced. And I'm not going to be silenced. I'm not going to be silenced. I have the right to this free speech, and I'm going to use this right because it's this right to free speech this right to march, this right to protest that's going to make a difference. And if we are going to make a difference, I assure you, one of the things that I will not do, I will not vote to send another dime to Israel so that they can hurt these children. I'm not going to do it. And I want you to know that this is something that is important to us because your tax dollars are doing it. That's what it is. That's why I speak up, because it's tax dollars. So I want to close with this, dear friends. I close with this. As we assemble here today, there are some who would say that we should be here by the hundreds of thousands. I say we've got enough people here today to change the world. You are enough to change the world. There are times when you can have too many people to get a job done. Too many. I read somewhere in the book of Judges, about the 8th chapter, I believe, about a man who had a job to do. And he went to God, for those of you who believe, and he said, ask God to give him the strength and the guidance, in a sense. And God told him to tell everybody, so go over and drink. I'm skipping a few parts of this passage. Drink, and go over and drink from the water. And those who take it one way, put them in one column, and those who take it another in another. And he said, now just use those few. And he said, those who are afraid, you want to get rid of them. Today we have the brave people who are here. You are the brave. And when you march with the brave, you need not be afraid. This is going to be a productive march that's going to take its rightful place in the annals of history. People are going to say, when posterity asks, where were you when justice was under assault? You can say, I was there. I was there. I was there. I was there. So where were you when voting rights were under assault? Where were you? Right here. And where will you be when it's time for us to take up the next vote on impeachment? Will you stand with us? Will you watch the back of the person who is trying to get this done? There are plenty of people who think that we shouldn't do this, and some of them are violent people. I want you to know that no amount of talk, no amount of violence is going to stop me. I have learned that on some issues of importance, they are so sacred, as John put it, but there are some issues so important that it is better to stand alone than not stand at all. I will stand alone. I will fight for you. Will you fight with me? Will you fight with me? Will you march with me? Will you protest with me? Will you stand up against Donald Trump and make sure that he is removed from office? God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Good trouble. Good trouble. All right. All right. She wants to shake my cane. All right. Good trouble. I'm going to have to take it back now. I got to take it back. Good trouble, everybody. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we're going to close out with an amazing speaker. John Bonifaz is a constitutional scholar and the president of Free Speech for People, and one of Congressman Green's strongest allies for impeachment. Come on up, John, and then we're going to go ahead and march.
Let's give it up for the D.C. Labor Chorus. Let's give it up for the organizers who brought us all together. And let's give it up for all of you for standing up for our democracy, standing up for our Constitution, standing up for the rule of law, and standing up for that bedrock principle that no one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. We are here to honor John Lewis, to make good trouble, and to demand that we defend our democracy and our Constitution in this critical moment. At Free Speech for People, we are dedicated to fighting for our democracy and our Constitution all across the country. And the framers understood The framers were clear that there would be no monarchs, no tyrants to govern this nation, no kings in America. And they were clear. They set up 3 co-equal branches of government in the Constitution. Article 1 for the United States Congress, Article 2 for the presidency, and Article 3 for the judiciary. 3 co-equal branches of government. No kings in America. But they set up an extra guardrail. An extra guardrail. Section 4 of Article 2 for that day when a president who would trample on the Constitution, trample on the rule of law, would need to be impeached and removed from public office. The impeachment clause of the Constitution. Donald Trump has committed multiple abuses of power. He must be impeached and removed from public office. And at Free Speech for People, we launched ImpeachTrumpAgain.org. And more than 900,000 people all across the country have already signed on, demanding impeachment proceedings against this lawless president. We're closing in on 1 million. We urge you to join us at ImpeachTrumpAgain.org if you haven't. We have documented at that site the multiple abuses of power this president has committed. Disappearing people from the streets, putting them in foreign torture prisons, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Attacking the United States Congress, freezing public funds that have been duly appropriated by the Congress. He doesn't have the power to do that. An abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Attacking the United States judiciary, defying court orders, multiple court orders, including that order to send those planes around, sending Venezuelan immigrants to a torture prison in El Salvador. An abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Pardoning 1,500 of his fellow insurrectionists for an insurrection that he incited, the insurrectionist in chief, for hiding his liability, for covering up with respect to his liability, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Firing 17 different inspectors general at 17 different government agencies who are there to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. Why did he do that? Because he wants to commit waste, fraud, and abuse. An abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Treating the Oval Office as a profit-making enterprise at the public expense, violating the foreign and domestic emoluments clauses, taking illegal gifts from foreign governments all over the world, refusing to divest from his business interests, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Mobilizing the military, the Marines, into Los Angeles, threatening to do it in other cities to stop peaceful protests, to attack the First Amendment and our right to protest, and an abuse of power, an impeachable offense. And finally, the one that Congressman Green went to the floor of the United States House of Representatives with, a military attack on Iran without congressional authorization, a violation of the War Powers Clause, an abuse of power, an impeachable offense. Now I understand that some of your friends, some of your neighbors, they might say, well, we've tried that before. We impeached him twice. We got to move on. There's no point in doing it. The votes aren't there. Just move on. We have 3 responses to that at Free Speech for People. Number 1, we either have a constitution or we don't. We either have an impeachment clause or we don't. If we're not going to uphold the Constitution at this critical hour, in this critical moment, then we're giving up on the Constitution. We refuse to give up on the United States Constitution. Number two, when we do not name this conduct for what it is, high crimes against the state, then we normalize this conduct. These are high crimes for which the president must be held accountable. And number 3, members of Congress took the very same oath that Donald Trump took on January 20th to protect and defend the Constitution. They have a duty to abide by that oath, to stand with Congressman Green, and to initiate impeachment proceedings against this flawless president. So we have a message for Donald Trump today. We have a message for Donald Trump today. We are not afraid of you. We are not afraid of you. We are not afraid of you.
We are not afraid of you. We are not afraid of you. We are not afraid of you. We are not afraid of you.
You are a lawless, reckless, wannabe tyrant. You have committed high crimes against the state. We will hold you accountable. You must be impeached and removed from public office. Because we know, in the name of John Lewis, that when human rights are under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrant rights are under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
When trans rights are under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
When D.C. is under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our basic freedoms are under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our Constitution is under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our democracy is under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back.
When the rule of law is under attack, what do?